focus on yourself, on your faith, on your dreams, on your mind, on your health, yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Ask the Expert Show, hosted by my co-host, Teresa Ream, and myself, Patty Farmer. And we're looking forward to today's expert with you, and we encourage you to let this just be something you listen to, that you connect with her after the show, and you take some action, right? Because it's all about the action that we take in our business on the expertise that she is going to share with you. So before we jump in, I'm going to turn it over to my co-host, Teresa. She's going to introduce you to our expert today.
Thank you, Patty. I'm so excited for this interview. Today, we will be talking about releasing trapped energy that causes emotional and physical discomfort. And we're talking today with Lona DeRieux, and she is a doTERRA wellness advocate and energy worker. She is a certified emotion code and body code practitioner who specializes in a revolutionary energy balancing system. Lona is a unique approach to the use of essential oils by identifying the emotional aspects of illness, combined with muscle testing, and to select the most appropriate oils for each client. She has been with doTERRA Essentials since 2011 and has established a community of, get this, over 20,000. That's huge and growing. The oils are called essential for a reason. doTERRA essential oils are certified pure tested grade, so you can feel comfortable that you are getting the highest quality oils on the marketplace. In fact, they are more affordable, safer, and more effective than modern medications in some aspects. Essential oils are plant-based remedies and were used in ancient times, and now we have them for our own use. Body code is a way of identifying and releasing the imbalances that causes physical and emotional problems for people. By releasing these trapped energies, clients' bodies have an increased ability to heal. She works to open blocked chakras, meet meridians, and such. There's a physical side as well, where Lona identifies infections, toxins, nutritional deficiencies, and structural imbalances. She is empathetic, positive, and compassionate. Yes, she is. She is dedicated to assist you in attaining good health naturally. She understands the limitations of not feeling well causes and helps you to feel better daily. Lona is a one-stop shop for physical, emotional, and financial wellness. Welcome, Lona.
Thank you. I didn't know you were going to read the whole thing. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Well, we want our audience to know how wonderful you are.
Thank you. I'm like, is that
We
me?
do. And we love having you here. Thank you so much. I have to tell you, that is a lot of what you do. And I just really love that. And I think so much of being an entrepreneur and business owner, a lot of times we do get trapped in some of those things, and we do need to be able to release them to move forward. Otherwise, we can sometimes get stuck. A lot of times, in the entrepreneur world, we talk about roadblocks all the time and getting stuck, and being able to get unstuck is definitely something that is very important. And I would say a lot of the entrepreneurs and business owners I talk to, it's in like the top 3 things that they would say they were having a challenge in their business. So I think it is something that in the fast-paced world we live in right now that we really, really need. So I'm really excited to have you here today. But before we jump into our questions, I just want to take a moment to thank our sponsor, PWN, right? And so we will give you a little bit of information later on, but we just want to make sure we say thank you to them. And now let's jump right in. So one of the things that I really want to know is, I personally use the essential oils in my business. It's really my go-to first before I would ever think about going to the doctor, right? Before I ever think about going to the doctor, I'm always thinking about, oh, wait, let me get down my essential oils and see what I can do. And I have a big, thick sofa book that helps me to look up things and stuff. And I love that.
I'm so impressed, Patty.
Oh, really? Yes, I do it. I love my book. And so I think it is really important. But with that said, from your point of view, what's the number one thing that differentiates you from other people that are in your industry?
Well, I think because I felt so bad, and I'm not saying that other people do feel bad physically and emotionally and just struggling, that I just kind of took every approach that I possibly could find to help me find the answer so that I could feel better on a daily basis. Hence the show, Steps to Feel Good Daily with Lana, because I learned to do muscle testing. So that was one thing. So when you're using muscle testing, it really helps to pinpoint the accuracy of what you're using, because you'll open up a book and you'll be like, oh my gosh, there's 20 different oils here or 10 different oils. What do I need? And so my goal in really supporting people and helping them is to get the most accurate, have them save their money. I mean, I've been using them since 2011, and I have every oil. And I think every person needs that. However, if you have them and you don't know what to do with them, then they just sit there and people, they get frustrated. So I also like to teach about intuitive choosing of oils, which you can play oil games with. You can pick an oil and just set an intention, like, what is it that I need to make me get out of bed today? For example, if you're struggling, or what is it for me to be motivated? What is it that I need? Because every person is different. Every person has a different emotion. So even if there's like this box and saying these are the oils that you need, that may not be, those top three can be your personal emotions, because our emotions not only affect how our behavior is going to be, excuse me, but how we're going to feel on a daily basis.
I think that's really important. And I know that that's really looking at things holistically. And I think that nowadays that is very important. I think people even kind of holistically look at their business now. And I know for me that those essential oils and looking at that actually changed my life in a way that muscle testing really worked. Growing up my whole life, I'd been told that I was lactose intolerant. And I really thought I was, and I avoided things, but I never really got better. And I couldn't figure out what it was. And it wasn't until I had someone muscle test me that I really realized that me, my children, my grandchildren, that we weren't lactose intolerant. We were actually allergic to whey. And those two things are not the same thing. And once I actually stopped eating whey, all of a sudden, like I felt so much better. And so that was really the key. And I'd literally been tested I'd gone to doctor after doctor after doctor, but it wasn't until I actually got muscle tested and then really dug into that I really learned that it wasn't lactose at all. It was whey. So sometimes we think we know and we think, oh, a doctor, right? And I'm not saying anything about doctors. I love doctors, but they're really more about symptoms and not really getting to the root of it. And so that's why I feel like the holistic approach, hey, sometimes you can do both, but I always start holistic first. That's just me. So I really love that.
Yeah, I love that you had mentioned that, because there is a whole code you can do to test like what foods are good for you. But if you learn muscle testing, I just think it's like the greatest thing to empower all of us. It's like, is this good for me? Now, people can evolve higher and it can just be intuitive. So you can just ask the question, is this good for me? Yes, you can do the muscle testing, like even if you're in the store, or just get a general idea about what's going to make your body feel better, because not everybody's allergic to gluten. Not everybody's allergic to different things, but that's again another thing that gets put in a box. So I'm proud of you for that.
I love that, because there's a whole book that I read and I reread, and it's called Power versus Force. And it's all about the testing of things, and everything has a higher frequency, and the different things that have the frequencies that you test on against your body and what works for you. And I think I learned about it first from, remember Wayne Dyer back way in the day? He talked about that, of holding your arm out to the side, and you hold, the sweetener, the sweeteners in it, and it just, you hold a banana and you're strong. So I really like what that does, what that tells you about your body.
I like that you said you read that, because I've read that book as well. But because it's like, how do you explain energy? How do you explain to people that you can actually you can actually do this, and it's not like a woo-woo thing. This is
Yes.
like energy.
Mhm.
Well, I actually like that it feels like you're actually can take control of your own life, really, because muscle testing, it is so important to me. And I remember when I was working with a functional medicine doctor and we were finding out, like, some of the things, like I had a very high blood sugar then. Now my blood sugar is totally normal. And, then there's inflammation. I mean, like we could literally have a whole show on that. But with that said, that changed my life. And learning how to muscle test literally, now I know this won't surprise Teresa at all, knowing me, but whenever people tell me not to do something, like I always have to do it more than once because I always have to test. And I remember when I was tested and I had an intolerance to onion, and I was like, what? How could that be true? And once I actually cleared away all the inflammation and all that stuff, like it really started showing up, and I realized it was really like yellow onion. And I would get sick if I would eat pico. And of course I was like, oh no, that must just be an anomaly, right? And so I had to do it again so that I could get sick the second time before I actually really dug into it. But you know what? Rather than having to make myself sick over and over, I just muscle tested and then realized that I can eat green onion. I can eat sweet onion. I just can't eat yellow onion and stuff. And so once I realized, so now I just muscle test everything first. So now I don't have to get sick. And so I feel like if you can trust that and listen, right? Listen to your gut, like intuitively know. And I have to tell you, before this all happened and was a part of my life, I wasn't that person. Like I was one of those people that was like, oh yeah, that's kind of woo woo. But now all of a sudden it has been proven to me over and over again. And I do take control of my life and muscle test. And literally it has changed my life for sure.
Yay. I'm so happy for you.
Me
Yeah,
too.
that's kind of exciting.
Says a lot.
So with that said, while we're all sitting here telling all the wonderful things, and I know our audience is listening, go, me too. I'm sure they're all sitting there like, oh, they could tell us their story, right? So let's kind of talk about it. What are some of the best compliments or testimonials that you've received from clients or customers? What are the things they most commonly say to you?
Well, just kind of comments about them, like their life has literally changed, because I also do a lot of self-development in my training for my team or community, my oil community. And so I've just watched people shift and change, and just, people that were on medications, like emotional medications that were really not helping. I mean, of course it helps them to some point, but they're never able to get out of it, and they're not gaining their own strength. So things like that. I know that one of my clients used to say, I've never known anybody to get well faster than you. And, sometimes people just aren't open to things. And I'm like, I can teach you how to get well quickly if you just listen and trust me. But even essential oil users, they still don't, like, when you're starting to get sick, if you nail it within like that first sign of sickness and you stay consistent, I'm better in 24 hours. It's like when I look back, how often was I sick, or it's very rare. And I don't want to admit some things, but I haven't I haven't done certain things and I have been well. Well,
I think sometimes it's not just that people wait sometimes a long time or too long, right? So I always like to say it not only gets you well, but it gets you well faster, right? It can shorten it, like sometimes that happen, like I get bronchitis, but I automatically know that as soon as I feel the tickle, as soon as I feel it, I know it's coming. Immediately I jump on it, and then literally it stops it right there and then gets better, and it never gets to be as bad as it was.
Like one day.
And
yeah, one
right?
day. Yeah. And then just, just people, I mean, it's like, I really do have compassion for people and I want them to be well. And it's not, I think it's like, I give them the tools, as opposed to like, I'm going to heal you, or I'm going to do this. I'm going to teach you how to do it yourself. So I think the empowerment of other people is one of the things that they've appreciated.
I think so. Would you say that how well it works also is there's a correlation to what you believe too. I mean, if you try something and somebody says, I can help you do this, but in your whole mind and heart, you're like, this isn't going to work. It's not going to work. Well, guess what? It's probably not going to work. Right. So I think that a lot of times it's really like, are you open? Because we've been conditioned our whole life that,
Right.
this is, what happens and stuff. And so I feel like a lot of that is opening your mind and your heart to another way. And, I feel like my functional medicine doctor, I've been sick enough that when I go to her, she's like, no, Patty, for this, you need antibiotics. You need to go to the doctor. Right. But it's always my first stop first, it's like, what can I do to heal myself first? And then if it's worse than that, well, okay, then sometimes you do need medication. But as a general rule, I try really to not. I mean, back in the old days, they didn't, people had to learn how to heal themselves. Right. And stuff. So I think that rather than always having things be a last ditch effort, we could handle it faster if we're more open. In the world right now, we have so many things that we can do if we're just open to it. So I think, and if you can be open to it and actually have them in your cabinet all the time, like how great is that? Right. So I actually really do love that.
There's a saying, if you believe it's true, it is. So it's like, if you,
that can be good or bad.
You cannot do something. Yeah. But if you believe you can't do something, you're right. So it's like, if you believe you can heal yourself, you can. So I just say that I know I can.
Absolutely. Yes.
I think we all could have stories about that. Mm-hmm. So what do you love about your business right now? We all have times in our business when, we're scaling. Sometimes we're in, sustainability. Sometimes we're in growth mode. We're all in different times. But then there's things about our business that sometimes we have to do admin stuff. Sometimes we're in create. But what do you love about your business right now?
Well, I love a lot of things. One of the things I love is that I've stepped out of my comfort zone absolutely 100% in doing the Steps to Feel Good Daily with Lana in the Superstar Women Entrepreneur Network. So I love that. I'm growing in new ways. I love just that I have people that I've built relationships with that I would not have built those relationships had they not come into the wellness side of life, right? It's just, I love that. I love that I have financial freedom. I'm able to work where I want, when I want. I have to work.
Teresa and I love that too. That's one of our favorite things, right?
Yeah, you understand. It's like, oh, I gotta go. Okay. I can do my self-care till noon, and then I can start doing some work until like 5 or 6, and then I have the rest of the night. So just starting something 11, 12 years ago changed my life completely. I love the lifestyle that I live. So there's so many aspects. I never lived in a home. I lived in an apartment pretty much my whole life, other than when I was a little girl until my parents were divorced. So I am over the moon, beyond grateful that I made the decisions that I made to be an entrepreneur. I was a business consultant for 25 years prior to doing doTERRA and emotion and body code work. So I had that entrepreneur mindset. I didn't want to work for anybody. I don't want to have to punch a clock. But now it's like, not only do I not have to punch a clock, but I also have the freedom to travel or to do whatever I want. And I have tax write-offs.
Yes, I love that. Those are a beautiful thing. And I think most of our audience kind of feels the same way. I'm sure we're getting, yeah.
Or they're thinking about jumping on the entrepreneurial train. And so you just gave them a nudge. And I do love your shows. And you just recently interviewed one of Patty and my favorites, Jennifer Urizio.
Yes.
Patty and I just adore her.
Oh, I
actually worked with Jennifer for,
it's amazing.
Yeah, I worked with Jennifer for like 9 months. So, and she's actually been on the cover of my magazine and everything. So I love her. So she's the real deal for sure. So, I'm going to have to go out and listen to that show. So that's great. Thank you for telling me that, Teresa. What though, when you're thinking about this, there's a cliche, not that I'm much into cliches, but there is one that says that it takes a village to raise a child. And I feel like if it takes a village to raise a child, then it takes a tribe to build your business. And I always say, build your tribe, right? Because we don't have to do it alone, right? We don't have to do it by ourselves. So with that said, we want to make sure that we serve you as well as our audience. So if people are listening, maybe they're going to raise their hand and say me, right? But what are like a few industries that you really seem to work well with as a collaboration or referral partner? For example, realtors really do work well with insurance people and mortgage people, right? Who is that for you? Who are some industries, because they could be listening, or somebody that's listening, or Teresa and I could know them, right? And so we have massive networks. So what are a few industries that would be really great partners? And if we could do an intro for you, it would really move your business forward.
Thank you. I would appreciate that. Oh, wow. Chiropractors, anybody that's in the health and wellness industry, action people, even nurturers. I mean, there's a lot of different people that can do this. It's just even the people that just want to ditch and switch whatever they're doing, and bring that natural solution into their life, and maybe share that with a few other people. But the niche would be, I'm health and wellness for sure. I'm working with a lady at the Renew Center that just opened up in Bountiful, Utah. And, she's open, she loves natural solutions, and that's her life. But if people that are closed-minded, I think if you're 50-50, still a great fit. Let me help you to see the benefits that they can both work together. You know what I mean? We can use.
No, I really do. And just so you know, I live in Dallas, Texas, and we have Parker College, which is a chiropractic college here. And one of my closest friends is the president of the board of Chiropractic College. And I'm in the process right now of becoming part of that board. So I know hundreds and hundreds of chiropractors.
Wow.
So, so that's kind of a good thing. And I'm sure Teresa knows a lot of people in the health and wellness. We've actually had a few of those people on our show before. So yes, I think that you're in the right place, as we are, in getting to know you. So what social media platform are you the most active on? A lot of us are on a multitude of them. And I always like to say, because people ask me this all the time since I'm in marketing, they're like, oh, Patty, what social media platforms should I be on? And my answer is always, wherever your ideal clients are, that's where you should be, right? So for you, where are you the most active?
Well, it's funny that you ask me, because social media has been like the thorn in my side, the thing I don't want to do, which is why I said that doing the show has really helped me to dive in a little bit more. So I would say I'm most active on Facebook, because that's where I'm posting the show, but it also is going to YouTube. And all
but
other
the people that are out there in our audience, if they said, oh my gosh, I want to connect with her, where would you like us to send them?
Facebook.
Okay, good.
I would say Facebook, and actually on my personal page, Lona DeRieux, as opposed to Happy Healing or Steps to Feel Good Daily, just because that's the page that I'm most active on.
That's where I follow you daily. Yes.
Oh, you do?
Oh, yes.
That is awesome.
Yes.
And could you tell us what's your website?
It is happyhealing.me. And you might wonder, why would I say that? Because it was so happy healing me. We're happy when we're healing. So it's easy, because you can just think, happy healing me. I want to be happy healing myself, right? So happy healing.
I love that.
Me.
No, that is beautiful. I love that. And now it is time for what we like to call our lightning round. So I am going to turn it over to my co-host, Teresa. So Teresa, take it away, my friend.
Yes, our lightning round is where our guest answers just a couple questions with short, pithy answers. So let's start with the first one. Lona, if you could be remembered for one thing, only one thing, what would it be?
My heart.
Love that answer.
Yes, yes. And I was going to say, I'm going to ask these questions so we can learn more about your heart. And I can see, like me, you get emotional when it comes to that kind of stuff. Yes. Oh, I love it. Thank you, Lana. Thank you. What is one thing on your bucket list that you haven't accomplished yet?
Writing a book.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whenever you decide to do that, Teresa and I know the right person for that as well.
I am starting it, but it's like sometimes life takes over.
Totally.
We can talk more when I have my session with you. This is kind of a heavy one, and I know you could probably, but you have to answer it in short and sweet. What's your biggest failure, and what did you learn from it?
Whew. My biggest failure, and what did I learn from it? I would say not, if I say it as quickly as I can, not opening myself up to the power of my creator. And once I did that, my life changed.
Beautiful.
That was a beautiful answer. Kind of goes in with the other answers too. Very consistent right there.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Lana.
You're so welcome.
Thank you, Lana, for being a guest on the show and sharing your zone of genius. And to our audience, thank you for joining us on Ask the Expert. And if you enjoyed today's show, please don't keep us a secret. Share us with your network. The more people that get to hear about Lana, the better, right? So believe me when I say that your colleagues will thank you. And we have an invitation for you. And Teresa is going to invite you.
Yes, thank you, Patty. We appreciate you sharing your expertise with us and our audience, and thank you for joining Ask the Expert. Feel free to reach out to Patty and myself with any questions when the episode comes out and connect with us on social media and with Lana. We love hearing from our listeners and would love to connect with you. So go to www.pwn.monterey.org.
Yay, that's our sponsor. We want to thank them. We thank you. Teresa, thank you so much for being like the hostess with the mostest. I love having you be here with me today. To our audience, thank you so much for being here every single week. We really appreciate you. And until next week, see you then.
Thank you.
You gotta focus on yourself, on your faith, on your dreams, on your mind, on your health, yeah.